It's true. I always say that my restaurant job in Beverly Hills really prepared me the best for show business because I got yelled at so much all the time. People were so high maintenance. And it just helped me get a thick skin, like just be like, ugh, whatever.
Right. Hi, I'm your host, Michael Fagan, and this is Waiting to be Famous. I invite celebrities on the show to talk about their days of waiting tables, where they were waiting for fame. My very special guest today is Kate Flannery.
Oh my God!
Kate played Meredith Palmer on The Office for 9 seasons. But before she found fame on The Office, Kate was a waitress in Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, and Beverly Hills. Please welcome Kate Flannery. You know who I always thought would make a really great waitress would be Meredith, right? I think that she would fit right in.
I think she'd make a better bartender because
perfect.
In general, waiters are like, can I get you anything? Is everything okay? Whereas like, you know, bartenders are like, you're in, you're out, get out.
Well, I think that I think she would be perfect a crew member. I think I've dated a bunch of Merediths. I think I've worked with a bunch of Merediths.
Totally.
Right? The fun person to go out with after work. Like, she would always be up for it.
So busted. Walk of shame.
You know, and you probably know this, but a lot of other cast members also waited tables, right?
Oh, yeah.
John did, Jenna did, Steve did. Everybody was waiting tables.
Very briefly, though. Very briefly. I have a much longer trajectory, obviously.
Right.
I've worked in a restaurant since I was 13. I worked in a Chinese restaurant doing takeout and being a busgirl because my mom was like, oh, you want voice lessons. You already have tap and you already have piano. Your sister only has swimming. That's it. You want it, you work.
Right.
So my older sister worked at a Chinese restaurant that was walkable. So I worked one night a week and paid for my voice lessons.
Nice. So, and you grew up in the Philly area?
I did.
Right.
Yes, and spent every summer in Ocean City, New Jersey.
I'm in Atlantic City, so
of course you are. Yes, no, right? Been there many times. Jane Lynch and I played the Borgata a couple years ago, and I was like, "Hey, I used to work on the boardwalk. Hey, I made it. Yeah."
So at 13 you started, and this is in and around Philly, and then that was pretty much your primary job the whole way, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I think it makes sense. You know, it's a cliche, the actor, the waiter, you know, and I can go on auditions during the day and I can work at night. But I also think it makes sense because waiters are also performers. You have to do scripts, you have to fake.
No, the specials, yeah, you got to speak. Yeah. You have a lot to recite, yeah.
You can't call out sick. If you call out, you know, in both industries, you have to show up no matter what. You know, there's always a thing.
Bunch of prudes. You know, Oscar's allowed to wear sandals, but I'm not allowed to wear open-toed shoes.
I used to work with Billy Crystal's daughter, Jennifer, and she taught me the hard way. She booked this TV movie of the week, and it started the next day. And they were like, "Well, you got to cover your shift." It was a lunch shift. It wasn't that big. Yeah. We had tons of waiters. If she had called in sick, she still would have had her job. She told the truth and she got fired. I was like, okay, from this point on, I'm either sick or I've got car trouble.
Right.
Like, I got to hold on to this job. So I actually see her from time to time, and we have this conversation. I'm like, you were really my airbag, dude. I know, because you know I couldn't afford to quit ever, and it was so hard to get another job here. This town is like, people hold on to their restaurant jobs for like literally they clamp it down. They put like super glue on the job. They want to be there forever. And a lot of them call themselves actor waiters, but a lot of them, they just want to get discovered. They think if they wait on the right person, you know, I was like doing off Broadway. I was doing tons of shows all the time. I was doing my comedy act. Like I always had a flyer in my pocket for a show I was doing. I'd audition for people and then I'd wait on them the next day or even that night. So I used to get a lot of my customers to come see our show, but customers who used to be on TV, people like Ann Muir and Jerry Stiller, like I would like Howard
You're
Morris.
You're constantly waiting on famous people and stars are constantly coming in?
Yes, although some of the 70s TV actors, they were character actors. They understood my play because I was in my late 30s, like 40 when I was still, I mean, you know, I always say Steve Carell was the 40-year-old virgin. I was the 40-year-old waitress. I got The Office when I was 40.
Shaboom! How you like me now?
Oh, wow. So growing up outside of Philly, you knew about Scranton, or at least you were familiar
Yes.
with
Yeah,
where it was.
I had friends that went to college there because I went to Catholic high school and it's a Catholic college, so I had friends that went there.
I grew up about 20 minutes outside of Scranton in a little town called Carbondale.
Oh, sure.
And my dad worked at Scranton Dodge.
Wow.
He sold cars.
Yeah.
I've been to the Steamtown Mall.
Boscov's at the Steamtown Mall.
It sure looked good on the mannequin.
Well, you have good taste.
Well, thanks.
I can't tell you what a big deal it is like all the little things that are mentioned in the show. And then everybody in the area goes nuts because they're real. The radio stations, the malls, the bars, everything was real. And everybody else probably thought it was made up, but it's a big deal.
It's real. My sister went to Strasbourg. I have another sister went to Bloomsburg State. So I'd been in the area. It is real.
Yeah, all very familiar stuff. So I love the story about, you were at Kate Mandolini's.
Yes, that was a restaurant I worked in
restaurant.
Beverly Hills. I worked on so many famous people every day.
I wrote down a list of myself in Atlantic City, all the stars coming in, and I had about 200. But and whenever I see things on Facebook and stuff like, hey, who did you wait on? I never do it because I think I could always win. But I think you could beat me. Or I think Beverly Hills waiters could beat me.
Because I also waited on a lot of famous people in New York, too.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. And even in Chicago, a little bit in Chicago, too.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia. I mean, literally. I mean, there was always, I feel like every once in a while, but yeah. But LA in particular was a lot of old MGM stars and Billy Wilder, the director, but like Steve Martin and Robert De Niro and Chaka Khan. I mean, I can't, it's nuts.
Yeah, the list goes on. Some
Whitney
are very
Houston,
nice.
Bobby Brown. Yes.
Some are very nice, and some don't talk to you. Is that what you found?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I only remember the bad tippers if they're really bad tippers.
I have a bad tipper on top of my mind who is famous for bad tipping.
Right.
I would never say, but you know.
Well, I'll mention one person, one of the Bulls, Scottie Pippen. We used to call him No Tippin' Pippen.
Oh my God, Meredith, what are you doing?
Baking a cake. What does it look like I'm doing?
I love your story about how you got the office because it wasn't. It's really like it kind of defines what an actor goes through. And I think you auditioned for your first time in January, right?
Yeah, or maybe it was February. Yeah. Whatever that. Yeah, right before they did the pilot, which was in February. Yeah.
Right. And you went in and you didn't even. There wasn't even Meredith at this time. Was that right?
No, I auditioned for the part of Jan, and I
right.
Yeah.
And then so you go in and it's a part and you don't get it, but they say we really like you. We think you might be right for the show. We still think you're right for the show. Yeah. So now you're living on that for months, right? You're back in the restaurant.
You toss it away. You don't even know.
You tossed it away.
And you don't even know if the show's going to get picked up. They just did one pilot. I mean, how many pilots get made that don't move forward?
Right. Hindsight is like, oh my God, The Office. And you're like, yeah, but nobody knew. When I was telling, right, like you're telling your friends The Office, they're like, I don't know, some English thing.
Well, also the British show was such a big hit, and they were really not having a great experience in making American versions of British shows. We were really the first one to click.
Don't fall in love with me, kid.
So, it took all the way till, did it take till August before you actually got called back or booked it, or?
It was just another audition in August because I ended up they decided to replace somebody that they had hired before. So I was there for another part that was kind of unnamed at the time.
And was this Meredith? Or was this?
Yeah, it was Meredith. It was Meredith. Okay. She became Meredith. Yeah.
And you kept your job, right?
I did because we only had 6 episodes in the first season, and that's not enough to be like, woo. I mean, because of Second City, I was like, wait a minute, what are we? Yeah. How long am I working? Like, I don't know if I should quit. So I covered my shifts during the week, and I worked my Sunday brunch.
Right, and that very well could have been, you could have done 6 episodes and talked about it for the rest of your life, and that was it.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Or I know made a little bit of money and right. Whatever for that episode. But
absolutely.
Now, while it was running, were people coming into the restaurant and recognizing you?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, and then there would be some of the directors would come in, some of the producers would come in. They'd be like, "Oh, I didn't know you worked here," and the showrunner was like, "I got to talk to you." I was kind of in the weeds when he did this, but he's like, that one scene during the insurance scene where
The
you're
vagina
asking,
scene, right? When
exactly.
Steve
He
was
like-
saying you don't have
actually,
a vagina.
it was Rain. It was Rain Wilson. Yeah.
Oh,
I thought your vagina was removed during your hysterectomy.
The uterus is different from a vagina. I still have a vagina.
But I was like, he's like, I'm trying to fight with the network because you improvised the word vagina. I'm trying to get it on. I don't know if, but I just love that. Like Greg Daniels didn't even acknowledge that I was working in a restaurant. He was like, oh, I'm so glad I ran into you. I got to talk to you.
yeah, like you were eating there, right? You
It's
got the apron
kinda-
on and the tie and everything else
Yeah,
like
totally.
that.
In fact, I brought my tie. This is my last waiter
Oh
tie.
my God, I love it.
Yes, it's still stained with meatloaf and gravy.
Right,
and
we don't wash ties, we don't wash aprons. We just wipe them down and
there
move
you go.
on.
I still have dreams about it, dude. Seriously, I do. It's
The waiter
crazy.
dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you
And then
forget
I'm
the
like,
ranch
oh, wait a minute.
dressing or...
Yeah, or it's like you're in the weeds. You don't even know how to work the computer. You're like, what? Yeah, and there's so many times where I'll never forget one of my most frustrating days. It was probably a year before I stopped waiting tables. I had like no kidding. I had like 10 giant orange juices on a glass during brunch. Slipped all the orange juice all over my white uniform and this crappy tie, so I had to go back and get it again because they're waiting. Well, no one helped clean it up at all. So I slipped again in the same spot. And so I'm like, so I get there and I remember this one table was like, this woman said to me, "You're disgusting."
Oh my gosh.
And I said, "Yes, you're right. I am disgusting." And then I went to Beatrice Straight table. Now, Beatrice Straight she won an Oscar in the movie Network.
Okay.
She played William Holden's wife. She had Alzheimer's at the time, but she was so lovely. And I went to bring her food to her table covered in orange juice. And she said, "You look beautiful."
Oh, isn't that nice?
I loved her so much, especially that day. I needed to hear that. I was like, clearly you have Alzheimer's, but I love you anyway. It's fine.
Right. I have a little game that it's called "What Would You Rather" as a waitress. All right. So, what would you rather? Would you rather a party of 6 come in 5 minutes before close, or would you rather somebody from that party order a hot tea with lemon and honey?
Party of 6 right before close because I'd make more money. Tea,
Right.
me. I could do tea in my sleep.
Happy birthday.
If you have a 6 top, would you rather sing "Happy Birthday," or would you rather split their check 6 different ways?
Oh, sing "Happy Birthday."
Oh yeah,
I could do that
'cause
all
you're
the
a
day
singer.
long, as I say.
Yeah. I would split the check 10 ways.
Hilarious.
And I would hate that.
Hilarious.
But I don't want to sing "Happy Birthday."
Sing
and I
happy.
think
It's almost like ripping off a Band-Aid. Just get it over with. Don't fight
Yeah.
it. Just do it. Right?
Well,
Everybody
you
will join you.
know-
Hopefully.
if you worked at a place where you do sing "Happy Birthday," you have to gather people, and nobody
Right.
will do it for you.
Right, of course.
And you have to sing for them, so they'll sing for you.
Of course. Yes, we got to barter. I know, it's so true. You got to beg people. You got to bribe them. I know.
It was such a pleasure talking to you this
Thank
morning.
you so much, Michael.
No, it's I know how busy you are and your generosity towards me. I have a humble show and a little idea here, and I
love
really
it.
appreciate it.
I love
Okay?
it. And people, I feel like everyone in the world needs to wait tables at least for a week.
I love talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Kate.
so much, Michael. All the best.
All right, pleasure. Bye-bye now.
I tip you really big for this interview, by the way.
Hey,
right?
please come to Atlantic City and find yourself to my table one day. Kate Flannery, everyone. Thanks so much for being on the show today, Kate. Hey, if you're a waiter out there, dream big and live that dream. And if you're a customer, be nice to your waiter, because you never know if they're waiting to be famous. My name is Michael Fagan. Thanks so much for watching.